All right, I'm going to get started. I think people are still trickling in, um, but I'm mindful of time. And so, hello, everyone. If you don't know me by now, I am Alicia LaPolla, and I'm the Associate Dean at Messina College at Boston College. And this is our fourth and final in our webinar series for our incoming students and families. And we are thrilled. This is my favorite one. This is the most exciting one. This is getting ready for Messina. If you're here, it's because you are doing just that. You are about to prepare to come to campus. And we know that the transition from high school to college is a big one. And so I've got some incredible guests with me here today. I've got Chris Darcy, who is the director of the Office of First Year Experience here at BC. And I've got Chris Phillips, a couple of Chris's. I've got Chris Phillips, who is the Assistant Director of Residential Life and Student Involvement, Student Engagement at Messina College. And so they're going to be talking to you today about respectively, about orientation and what does that mean as you come in as a new student at Boston College. That's what Chris Darcy will be talking about. And Chris Phillips will talk to you about moving to campus. What do you need to know before, as you prepare to be a residential student at Messina? So I want to start first with a couple of things before I pass them along to the Chris's here. And I want to talk a little bit about some logistical things that you might need to be thinking about right now, as well as just kind of some emotional things or just life things that might be on your mind and sort of how we are also thinking of those things. If at any moment you have a question, there's a little Q&A box you'll see in the chat. Feel free to use the Q&A and we'll get to those questions as we can. I want to start on a logistical end though. These are what I'm calling the top 10 things you need to do before July. It was a punchy title. I don't know about 10, but I want to start first with something really brass tacks, which is accommodation requests, because I'm basing these on really the kind of questions that we're getting from a lot of you as you're talking to folks in our office or as you're sort of coming in and emailing us. Many of you may have already spoken to Genevieve Green, who is our Associate Director of Student Success at Messina. She's wonderful. And so something that comes up a lot is if you had an accommodation in high school, what does that mean as you come into college? And so this could be either in or out of the classroom. And in college, it looks a little different. And so in high school, your diagnosis, any accommodations, any sort of things you needed to be successful were automatically sent to your high school and to your teachers. And you didn't really need to do a whole lot in that process to make that happen. In college, that can be a little different. And so I just want to talk about this quickly. If you have physical accommodations that you need, something that you're going to need in the residence hall, something you're going to need for mobility, anything like that, you're going to want to connect with the Disability Services Office. For any academic accommodations, learning and classroom accommodations, you'll want to connect with the Connors Family Learning Center. These are two different offices. Both of these offices are going to request documentation of your diagnosis, and they're going to review your materials. And if you're approved, they're going to provide you with a document kind of outlining what those accommodations are. And from there, it's really up to you, the student, to communicate that with your faculty and your other offices as necessary. And so I want to say it's never too early to start this process. It's never too late either, but it's also never too early. And so if you're already thinking like, oh, I had a 504, I had an IEP in high school, is that something I might be able to get help with in college? The answer is yes. What we don't like is when students we don't want, I should say, is we don't want students to make it to like November and say, actually, you know what? I just remembered I had this thing in high school. Could that have been helpful for me? We want to make sure you have that the whole time. So that's number one. Number two is setting up your username and email. I'm hoping many of you have already done this, but we're noticing a few students have not done this. And so I feel the need to say this. You should have received an email with the email you applied with, inviting you to set up your Boston College username and credentials. This is super important. Well, you're going to hear a running theme today, I think, of just check your email. When we say check your email, we at this point mean your Boston College email. You might have been in something like a admitted student portal at this point. Some things are going to start shifting only to your Boston College email account, and those things are really important. So just make sure you're setting up your credentials so you can access all the things you need. Likewise, make sure everything that's in My Services in Agora is your updated information. So we have ways to contact you, updated address. You may have applied with one address and now you have a different one, different emergency contact information, all of that. Just make sure we have all of that information. Register for orientation. Chris is certainly going to talk about this, but so many of you, most of you already have. But I just want to make sure that you're aware that's something that you should do, and you should see that in your portal. And obviously, Chris will talk a lot about what orientation means in a moment. You're also going to be asked to submit a photo for your Eagle One card. This is your student ID card. So if you're confused about what that Eagle One card is, that's what that means. And it's a quite important little piece of plastic. It's not just an ID card, it's actually your room key. It gets you into your building, it's your pass in the dining hall. In other words, you really can't be on campus without it. And so we just really want to make sure that you're sending in a photo as early as possible so that you can pick that up when you move in, and you're able to access all the things. Doesn't need to be like a professional photo, like no ring light or anything required. Just take a photos and send it in so that we can get you your card. Okay, health forms. And I know that I know for just anecdotally, we have some families here as well on the call listening in today. And this also is something you might want to pay attention to. You're going to get a couple of things regarding health and insurance. One is a request for your health forms and your immunization records. Depending on your doctor, you might be able to just download this from like a patient portal or something like that. We are going to keep bugging you. Boston College will keep bugging you until we get these forms from you. And so please make sure that you're submitting them early. Now would be great. Similarly, health insurance. This is something that is certainly not intuitive for new college students and families. And so I want to take a minute to just explain it. So if you are from the state of Massachusetts, then you already know that in Massachusetts, you are required to have health insurance here. At Boston College, students are automatically enrolled in the Boston College Student Health Plan, which is quite good. However, you can choose to remain on that plan, on the Boston College plan, or stay on your current health insurance, okay? The trick here, the thing that people don't quite always grasp, that I want to underscore here, is that if you are staying on your family's insurance or your current health insurance, you need to actively waive the Boston College insurance or you're going to be billed for it. Okay. So you should be able to see this information soon. But you just make sure that when you see the information regarding health insurance, that's something that you're taking action on. If you would like to remain on your current insurance, you are more than welcome to do that, but you must actively waive the Boston College insurance. So just something to know. Bill and payment plan. Your first bill will be sent sometime this month, and you're going to be receiving an email to your BC account directing you with like a link to your bill. Again, good moment to make sure that you're checking your Boston College email. But I also want to just use this moment to talk about how you can the difference between high school and college when it comes to matters like this. So or what I really mean is being over the age of 18. So if you're over the age of 18, you're considered a legal adult, and this means that no one else, including your parents and guardians, has right to private information. And this concept in and of itself is just a huge shift for students and families alike, right? One of the ways this becomes most obvious is around paying the bill. And so if you and your family should figure out who is actually responsible for making that payment. And your family can't do this for you without your permission. And so what you can do within your portal is grant someone else permission to pay the bill. Students are usually more than thrilled to do that, but I just want to make sure that's something that you know that you can do. And I'll talk a little bit more about what families can and cannot do and information that they cannot have in a moment. But just wanted to point that out. Number 9 is go shopping. Okay, so Chris is going to talk to you in a little while about moving to campus and the things you're going to need. You going shopping is a wonderful way to start getting yourself really in the mindset of being a college student. And you're going to need a whole bunch of things for your room, for your for your classes, and involving your friends and your family in that process can be a really lovely way to get everybody really excited about joining the BC family. And so go shopping, and Chris Phillips will talk more about that in a moment. And setting expectations. And so I want to, that kind of leads me to my next slides. What do I mean by setting expectations? And so the transition to college is something that happens for both students and families. And I want to start by just talking about students real quick. Number 1, yes, this is a big deal. I know that some of you have already graduated from high school. Graduation ceremonies have already happened. Some of you are about to do that very soon. And the time between now and when you move in can be really overwhelming. But that feeling that you might have is valid. That this might feel like kind of a big deal, and it is. It's a very big deal. And I want to say first that based on, again, on the comments we get from students, your admission was not a mistake, and you're not here by mistake. And we are here, you're here right now because we know that you're going to thrive here. And it's not uncommon for students, I feel the need to say that because it's not uncommon for students to have a moment where they're like, what did I just get myself into? This feels like a really big deal. That's valid. And so we know you're going to do great things here. We know we're going to be with you every step of the way, but I just want to acknowledge that feeling right now. Let your expectations go. What do I mean by that? I don't know where you grew up. I don't know how many other places you've lived. I don't know the circles you run in. But coming to college might be the first time you're encountering people who didn't grow up in your neighborhood or are not part of a close-knit circle for you or didn't grow up the way you did. And that can feel a lot of different ways. And so as you come to campus and as you have a roommate and as you meet people on your floor and in your classes and have discussion groups, there might be some ideas you might have about how people may interact with you and how people have always interacted with you, how you present yourself to the world. And I'm going to encourage you to kind of lean into just keeping an open mind and letting yourself kind of go a little bit and just thinking about like, how can I make the most of this new experience rather than thinking about, oh, this feels different, because the uncomfortableness, that sort of moment of discomfort and awkwardness is really where the growth happens. It's why icebreakers at orientation are so great. They're meant to be uncomfortable, to kind of lean you and push you into those moments of vulnerability. And so lean into that a little bit. Get to know BC. Most of you have been to campus by now, I know. If you haven't yet, we're excited to see you soon, but you don't have to be physically on campus to get to know BC. Do your research, poke around all the Instagram accounts, look around our website a little bit, kind of get to know what the culture is like here, because Messina students are Boston College students, and you're going to have access to all of the things. And so we want to make sure that you know what happens at BC. I talked about a packing list already, but start thinking about what that list looks like for you, based on information you learned today. Prepare to feel a little lost. We will likely do a little bit of a chore of just like, where are your classes? That's a valid question, right? Understand that you're not alone in feeling lost, both on the Messina campus and on the Chestnut Hill campus. Practice asking for help. So something that I like to talk about as a huge difference between high school and college is the concept of asking for help, especially when it comes to things like tutoring, or anything related to the classroom. In high school, you may have been advised to seek out a tutor if you weren't doing well in a class. In college, it's kind of understood that everybody will have some sort of tutoring at some point, even if you're getting an A in the class and you would like to get an A+ in the class. There's really always room for growth and learning here, and we absolutely expect you to be asking for help, not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom. There's so much support for you here. I'm going to say it on every single slide. Check your email, check your Boston College email. There's important stuff in there. And reach out with questions. You know where to find us at this point. And we love getting your questions, not only just to hear from you, but also just to kind of gauge, sort of where students are. However, if you're a family member on this call right now, great. If you are engaging with your family and it feels a little weird right now, there's a reason for that. I just want to talk about what families are going through. This could be your first student ever going to school. You might also already have some students in college. It's hard, and families, just like with students, you could be counting down the seconds for this moment since the day they were born, or you could be really living in fear of this moment. Most are a combination of those things in between. And so I just want to talk about the fact that this is a transition for you as well, the family member. This is something that is a shift in your family dynamic, in how you engage with your student, in how you talk to your student, the ways that they navigate the world. All these things are a shift that, again, just like with the students, this is a big deal. You are correct. This is a big deal, even if you've done this before. And so I just want to put that into the room and acknowledge that we understand we are here for you as well, that we understand that you are partners in this, and that we want to make sure that you are equipped to support your student because they're going to need you. Talk about expectations around communication. So this is for the students and the family members. Every family is different. Every student is different. There's a different normal for everybody. But not talking about it usually does not go well. So talk in the beginning. Are we going to text every day? Are we going to text several times a day? Are we going to talk once a week? And is it going to be on the phone? Are we talking about a FaceTime? How often are you coming home? How often will I see you? Talk about that early, and also acknowledge you might not know yet, but just make sure that you're on the same page a little bit so you're not constantly wondering what's going on with your student. We don't want anybody sort of like calling campus police because they haven't heard from their student in 5 minutes because they said that they would call at a certain time. Like, make sure you're kind of managing your expectations there. Who is this person? By that, I mean, the next time you see your student after you drop them off, even if it's a couple days later, they're going to sound different, right? There's going to be something a little different about them. You might have some feelings around that. Students, please be aware of that, the energy that you're bringing into the room. But the college experience, the purpose of this, the reason why we're so excited for them to have a residential experience is this growth into who they want to become as adults. And it can be awkward and clunky for students and for families. And so just sort of approach this with curiosity and, new things that come out of their mouths, new friends they're bringing home, all kinds of things, new music they're listening to, and sort of, position this as something that is exciting and ask real questions. Finding a balance of family obligations. And so many of you are from the Massachusetts area, Boston area, and we know you've got stuff going on at home. And so for families and students, this is another conversation to have before move-in happens. If you already have responsibilities at home, how does that change now that you're a college student and you have classes to go to and a lot of homework to do and all kinds of things, clubs to join and friends to hang out with and things like that? What is that balance for you and your family? What makes sense for you? It will shift, but it doesn't need to be totally different, right? And so what does that need to look like to make sure that your family is still, feeling good and supported, but also that you, the student, have space to be a student and explore this new phase of life. The push from and pull to home. Something that families also may experience is some days students are going to call home and say, I need to come home. This is not for me. I'm having a really bad day. This was a mistake. Can I please just come home? I might just leave entirely. And the next day they will call you and say, this was the best thing I ever did for myself. And I don't even know who that person was yesterday. And that's going to be a cycle, right? That goes on for a while, and it's not uncommon. And for families, it's hard to know what to do with that and hard to know what's the real action to take there. So just, again, something to acknowledge. There's no right or wrong answer here. This is going to look different for everybody, but just something to expect from students. I already talked about this a little bit, but I just want to talk a little bit more about the students who are 18 years old have access to their academic records. This includes their grades and their bill, and they can give you access to these things. Or you can have a conversation about these things. But these are not things like in high school, you will not just have access to these things without their permission and knowledge. And so we can talk more about that at orientation a little bit and kind of what that means for you. But just acknowledge this is something a little bit different and that you are not able to call me, for example, and say, hey, my student is taking chemistry. Can you tell me what they got on their last exam? I have to say, actually, I can't, but they can call you. They can tell you that. I personally cannot give out that information. So just be aware of that, a difference in high school and college. Okay, with that, I'm going to stop sharing. Those are my little tips for you, and I'm going to pass it off to Chris Darcy from the Office of First Year Experience.
Great. Thanks, Alicia. Thanks so much. Welcome, everyone. That's a great segue. I get a chance to talk about one of my favorite things at Boston College. But before I do that, let me be another in the line of many to say welcome. You're part of our family right now. I think Alicia talked about the transition. Being a Jesuit and Catholic university, we look at it as a journey. You're on a different part of your life's journey right now. And we are so excited to introduce you to so many companions, faculty, deans, orientation leaders, administrators, not only at Messina College, but in our entire university. that are here for your success. So let me just say welcome to our family, and we could not be happier to have you. I'm going to talk about three things, and then I'm going to turn it over to my colleague and Chris Phillips. But the first thing is orientation. As Alicia mentioned, one of the really heart of what we do, or I should say, one of the many things at the heart of what we do is our ability to say welcome. Whether we have new members coming to our faculty, we have new administrators, we had new family members, but especially to new students. And to all of you, orientation is such an important part, and for the families on the call as well too, to say welcome to all of you to the Boston College family. The first part of the orientation program that you're going to experience is together. So if you have a family member coming and you're coming together, you're going to have that time together on Sunday. We can give you a little bit more information if you haven't registered yet. Hopefully all of you have, probably all of you have, but you can register up to 2 family members coming with you. So Sunday starts off with our registration and our welcome, but also starts off with something that's very, very important to us at the university, and that's a university liturgy. Doesn't matter what faith tradition you're part of. St. Ignatius of Loyola, who is the founder of the Society of Jesus, in his early days with companions, ministered, educated, and served all members of the population in early Spain. And for us, what's very, very important is meeting you where you are, no matter what your faith tradition is. But something that is at the core and heart of our mission and our identity is celebrating every start of an orientation, all of our orientation programs with a university liturgy. So that'll be the start of what you'll experience on Sunday. But really, Sunday is designed for all of you to learn more about the mission and identity of Messina College and Boston College, one community. At our academic programs. What is that going to look like? What classes am I going to take? Who are these academic deans? Who's going to help me? We're going to talk a lot about that in orientation. The other part that's important is meeting some senior leaders from the university, meeting our dean, Father Eric Eriliza, meeting, obviously, seeing Alicia again, seeing a lot of senior leadership from our university. Messina College is part of Boston College. That's our family now. And you're going to get a chance to meet so many people. You might be sitting there saying, who's involved here? An entire university community. Messina College is one of our schools. And we could not be happier. So Sunday is going to be a combination of the welcome, starting to talk about this transition and what this journey looks like, and some of the people that are going to be on it with you. And you're also going to meet orientation leaders. We have 12 amazing orientation leaders. In fact, I just left training for some of the orientation leaders at the university to be excited and jump on this webinar with all of you. And I can tell you, we have an amazing group of 12 orientation leaders that not only are going to welcome you, there's going to be small group interaction. You're probably saying, icebreakers, oh, wow, I have to meet other people. What's going on? That's a big part of it. We're excited about that. You meet other people, but you know what you're going to learn? You're going to learn from the orientation leaders themselves. You're going to learn about their journey. How did they get here? They just didn't show up. They came a first year. A lot of the things that Alicia just outlined, the importance of preparing, the importance of reading email. There, Alicia told me to say that. So read your emails. But making sure also that you hear from them, their formative journey, their intellectual, social, spiritual journey, how they got to Boston College. So you're going to learn that as well, too. So for us, Sunday is certainly that entry point, the transition, the welcome, who we are, who you are with us. That's the first part. Family members are going to leave Sunday evening, and then Monday is for all of the students. So it's all on you. You're going to get a chance to hear from more stakeholders and more colleagues from the university, faculty, administrators. On Sunday, it's a combination, really, student affairs, which is the Dean of Students Office, the Office of Residential Life. You're going to hear a lot about people that will be on the ground and be working to support you. Going into Monday, you're going to hear from different departments. You're going to hear from student services. You're going to hear from campus ministry. You're going to hear from different departments across the university that are tasked with sharing the resources they provide, the opportunities, and the really what we look at, the intersections to get involved, to engage. And you're going to get a chance to kind of have more small group breakout and to talk to one another through your orientation leader. So, the 2 days for us are incredibly important. And we hope that you're going to feel the same way. In fact, we know you are once you experience them. And again, you might be thinking, wow, I've never done anything like this. Again, as Alicia outlined, that's the beauty of learning. That's the beauty of, and really the gifted privilege and blessing of learning about yourself, as well as learning about Messina College and Boston College together. And then really from that point on, that's going to be the segue to a lot of the work that you're going to do. Start entering into the academic aspect, the social aspect, and the intellect and the spiritual aspect. For us in Jesuit higher education, the formative pillars of an education center on the intellectual, social, and spiritual. And for us, you're going to hear from so many different colleagues and people that, again, they're going to be on the journey with you. They're going to be able to help you with this. And let me talk a little bit more about the orientation leaders and just share one more thing, and then I'll turn it over to my colleague, Chris. The orientation leaders didn't just say, hey, I'm going to just join for the summer. They went through an application process. They went through group interviews. They went through individual interviews. And again, they've just spent the last 15 days training for orientations at the university and orientations as part of Messina College as well, too. So you've got a group of individuals that are beyond excited to welcome you and to get to know you. And you're going to get to know them too. And you're going to get to know them during the time that you're here, and they'll be staying in touch with you as well, too. So we couldn't be more excited about that. The last thing I want to share is this, and it's something that I have the privilege of talking to first-year students all the time about. Don't be someone that you're not. You're supposed to be here. You worked hard. You applied. You did visits. You had conversations. You have people supporting you. Think about the mentors, the teachers, the coaches, guidance counselors. Think about your family members, parents and guardians that are on your journey right now. Well, now you're going to add more people to that. Don't think about who you should be. Allow yourself to be grateful for who you are and the gifts that you have right now. That's why you're here. That's why you're part of our community. So that's an important message from all of us as you enter into this journey with us. So I'm going to stop there. We'll have a chance for questions in a little bit, but I'll turn it over to Chris, if that's okay, Alicia. Chris is going to talk to you about the Office of Residential Life and about move-in and what the residence halls look like. Chris?
All right. So I'm going to try to keep this to two things in general. So the first thing will be just the next few weeks, what you're going to be getting from residential life. So the first part is that you will most likely be getting 3 very important emails. The first one will be from me, and that will probably won't be the first one, but one of them will be from me. And it will be introducing me, I'm the Assistant Director of Residential Life and Engagement. It'll be introducing my staff, and it'll also be pretty much introducing what we're going to talk about a little bit later as far as what you can bring in, what you can't bring. The second email that you will be receiving will be from Residential Life Placement. And what placement is they're the people who put your rooms together and do your assignments. And I think most of you know that June 1st was the deadline for your housing application. If you have not done it, reach out to placement. Their email is placement@bc.edu, and they may be able to work with you or just tell you what's going to happen next if you haven't done the application. But in that email from placement that's going to be coming to you soon will be your assignment for housing and also who your roommate will be. If you went random, you'll know who it is. If you didn't go random and you specifically chose someone, more than likely that will be your roommate. So yeah, in that email, you will also receive how move-in will go in full detail, as far as where you're going to be meeting, when you're going to be meeting there, pretty much the full process of where to start and where to finish. On the campus, there will also be signage that will direct you where to go. as far as where to start and where to finish. My staff will also be around to assist you. And in that email, there will also be another link for you to do your check-in as far as when you can schedule and what the time that you can come to the campus and start your move-in process. The final email that you should be getting will be confirmation of your move-in day with more detail as to how orientation and how housing is going to go. So those are the three main emails that you'll be receiving within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Mine's probably will be first because I'm already up and running with the RAs, which will be coming in. And by the way, just to tell you about the RAs, they are an amazing set. It's 5 of them. A good amount of them are first generation students as well. They're excited to meet you all. They're excited to work with you all and to build some sort of community and engagement with you all, because most of them are either first year or second year students and they've been through it. The majority of them are also students of color. So they have the whole understanding of what you're going to be going through and what you're probably thinking right now and the fears that you have. And like I said, I literally just emailed them yesterday. They're repped and ready to go. They're excited to get on campus, to go through training and to be of service to you all. All right, so that part is the update as far as residential life and what's happening as far as the next few weeks. I'm now going to go into the part that I think you all have been probably trying to figure out, and that is what to bring with you to campus on July 7th. And where I will start is, of course, bed sheets. Bed sheets are very important. If you haven't bought bed sheets yet, make sure that you're buying the extra long twin XLs. Those are what our bed size are. So don't get regular twins because your beds will be twin XL. So bed sheets are important. A blanket, pillow, the bedding essentials you can absolutely bring. A lot of people don't know this. You can purchase a headboard, because I think I've had some questions with people saying, can we bring a headboard? You can bring a headboard. How to kind of attach it is the tricky part because you can't take the bed apart, but I'm pretty sure, I think you can zip tie the headboard to the actual frame and then you can still have your headboard for those who want to do that. I highly recommend you have shower shoes and all of your cleanly and hygiene needs, and you can put it in a little bucket, like a little tote bucket. Those are very important to bring because your bathroom is not private to only you. It's private to you and possibly 3 to 4 other people. So, like I said, you want to make sure that you keep your stuff with you and you have it to which you can be in and out of the shower however you need to. You don't have to worry about toilet paper because we will supply toilet paper in your bathrooms, and your bathrooms will be cleaned by someone who is on staff. So cleaning products for the bathroom area, don't worry about, but if you do want to have like wipes or anything for your actual room, a broom, you can bring those. That is absolutely cool. Another important thing that we gotta talk about in detail is mattress pads. So it's very common that our students buy mattress pads. If you are buying a mattress pad, please be reminded that you cannot get egg crate ones or the plain foam. Like you can't just be the foam or the egg crates without something over it. It has to be covered. The reason why is because those are prohibited because those can be fire hazards. So if you do get a mattress pad, just make sure that it is whatever material you're using, whether it's egg crate or foam, that it is enclosed and it's not out in the open raw pad. Bring laundry detergent, or like I said, bring a small vacuum. A fan will be perfect for you because there's no air conditioning in that building. So I highly recommend bringing a fan. If you're wondering the size, I would probably recommend anything. The max size I would tell you to bring is maybe a 20-inch fan would be the max. I want you to be reminded that the rooms are a good size, but you're sharing your room with someone else. So you want to make sure that your fan is not stopping you from moving about. So please don't buy the humongous Beyonce fan that, blows your hair in the wind. Try to keep it sizable to the level of you can move about the room. The same thing with the television. You can bring your own television. Smart TVs do work on campus. I have my own smart TV. It's fully hooked up to the Wi-Fi and the full shebang. I would recommend not to bring a reasonable size television for the space that you have. I wouldn't recommend anything larger than maybe 55, maybe less than that. Specifically because, like I said, the room that you have is going to be shared with someone else. So I would recommend that you plan that out with your roommate once you figure who that is. If one of you have a TV, the other one doesn't have to bring it. Or if you both like the game, you see if you can maybe bring a smaller television and work it out. I wouldn't recommend anything bigger than 50 to 55, because then, like I said, you're literally just gonna have just a bed and a TV. Okay. Some other important things. You can bring a coffee maker, but it has to be single serve. So a Keurig will work. It can't be anything that's like a open hot plate. You're not allowed to bring anything that has anything that can create external heat. It has to be internal heating source. So a Keurig you can bring. You can't bring a rice cooker. You cannot bring anything as far as anything that cooks food. You cannot bring. Only because those could be fire hazards, and cleaning those also are a pain. So you can't bring those as well. Let's talk a little bit about electricity. So I want to make sure that we understand the differences of, you can bring a power strip. So you can bring a multi-tap power strip as long as it has a on and off switch, and it can have a long cord up to 6 feet, but you cannot bring an extension cord. So there's a big difference between the two. They both can be long and lengthy, but you can't bring an extension cord. You also cannot bring a multi-outlet adapter. So those adapters that turn maybe a 2-prong plug into like a 6, you can't bring that either. But you can bring a multi-strip. Okay. I would highly recommend that you bring hangers, because I'm sure you all see those closets. Those are very big closets. We don't supply hangers, unfortunately. If for the decoration side, if you like to decorate your room, you can bring holiday lights as long as they're LED. But you can only have up to 2 strands per room. So, and they can't hang off of anything as far as the fire alarm or anything of that nature. That you can't do. So if you do bring anything like LED lights or Christmas lights just to make your room more homely, I would highly recommend that you use the hooks that they make that you can pull tab, because if you use regular tape, sometimes the tape will fall and it can end up on something as far as a fire alarm, and that would be a hazard. I don't want you all to get in trouble. You can bring an iron. The iron does have to have an automatic shut off on it. It can't be just a regular iron. It has to be something, it has to have automatic shut off. You can also bring an ironing board. We recommend still bringing mask if you're still in the mask era. You can bring that. And those are just about the things that you can bring. The things that I would recommend for the first day would be bedding, as far as sheets, pillows, comforter. Those are automatic. Your hygiene materials, shower shoes, because you're going to want to shower, a toothbrush, things of that nature. Bring a fan because it's going to be hot, and you can open a window, but I don't know how much of a breeze you're going to get. So absolutely bring a fan. And anything that you may need for the first week. Like I said, you're not stuck on campus throughout the weekend. You're allowed to leave as you please on the weekend. So if you want to just bring the essentials and then figure out from there what you really, really need and what you can bring, you absolutely can do so and do it in the following weeks. But those are the top things that I would recommend as far as for your toiletries, laundry if you need to do it, shower shoes, towels, bed linen, TV if you want to, but not a huge one. And those will be the essential pieces.
Chris, both Chris's, thank you so much for that. If students, if you have questions, feel free to add them to the Q&A. We do have a question, Chris Phillips, I'm going to try to answer, but please jump in and correct me if I'm wrong here. We have a student asking about requesting a single room. Is that a thing? And if there are medical accommodations around needing a non-smoking roommate, what does that look like? I'm gonna take a stab at this, but essentially my understanding is that requesting a single room is actually a medical accommodation. And so there must be a medical reason for you to request a single. If that's you, that's great. You can send your materials to the Office of Disability Services. They'll review your materials and they will let Residence Life know if you should be granted a single room. Chris, the non-smoker roommate thing, I would imagine that was a question on the application, but maybe I'm wrong.
So yes, it is. We usually ask students if they smoke or they're non-smoking. So if you did your housing application, you would be able to kind of assist in that yourself. How it usually works is if you've picked a roommate, you're just going to be tagged to your roommate. If you haven't picked a roommate, and you want to do a random, the system uses the profile that you created for yourself to match you with someone based off of the profile that you created. So if you told the system that you sleep late, you don't smoke, and you study in the library, it's going to find someone who has the most accurate or similar match to you and match you with that person.
I always like to say, don't be aspirational in that form, be realistic. You
Absolutely.
aspire to be a morning person, but you're actually not. Don't say that you are in that form because no one will be happy. Um,
Absolutely.
Any other questions, feel free to add. And while we're waiting for other questions, I'll just say, one of the emails that you'll be receiving from Residence Life, as Chris mentioned, will give you a little more detail around what July 7th really looks like. And so if you have questions about, you keep telling me to move in July 7th. I don't know what that means. Where do I go? Where do I put my car? Like what is all that? All of that information will be in that email. But I promise you there will be plenty of people on campus, signs, all kinds of things directing you to know exactly where to go, where to stop to get your materials for both your room and for orientation, how to unload your car, where to put your car, all those sorts of things. And so please don't fret, you haven't missed anything there. You will be getting more information. I don't see any other questions coming in, which is probably because you've done an amazing job. Got a question here about insurance waiver for out-of-state students. It's exactly the same. If you're an out-of-state student, you also must have insurance while you are at Boston College. And so if you are looking to stay on your family's insurance or whatever insurance you're on right now, same exact process. You would waive that so that you can remain on that insurance. If you would like to opt into the Boston College insurance, is also an option for you as well, but it's exactly the same for in-state and out-of-state students.
I can take the next two because the next two are towards me.
Perfect.
So the first question is, are there rooms, apartment style double rooms connected by a bathroom, or are there bathrooms in the hallway for multiple students? So I like to say that the rooms are pod style. It's kind of a pod style, traditional kind of hybrid. So the bathrooms are outside of the rooms, but how it is built is it's not built like our regular traditional rooms. Our regular traditional rooms have multiple rooms, one bathroom that they all share. How the building is set up at Messina, there's maybe a bathroom and a shower for 4 people. Anyone can use those bathrooms, but they're made for the intention of those 4 people using it. So you would still have a somewhat private situation going as far as a bathroom, but it's still considered a traditional style kind of bathroom, if that makes sense. For the second question from Mr. Frank, you cannot mount the TVs on the wall. One, the walls are brick. So that's going to take some drilling, and you're not allowed to drill on our walls. Okay, just please do not. It's recommended that your TV has a TV stand as far as like the little stand that it comes with. that you will be able to put on the desk or put on your dresser drawer. That would be the best way to do it, which is why we tell you not to bring a very big TV. Bring something that won't take up too much space, but still be able to be seen.
Chris, that next one's for you too. Do students get a preference for Messina South or West?
They do not, because West is being renovated. It's not ready yet. So our first year of Messina students will only be going to West. I'm sorry, South, because West is still being renovated. It's literally being gutted as we speak.
Okay. Will students be able to find jobs in the summer? So a question we have is around finding jobs. The answer is yes. So there will be a job fair at Messina on July 11th. We are coordinating that right now. There's already many people who are looking to hire Messina students on campus if you have work study positions or looking for student employment positions. Most of those jobs will start in the fall, but there are some that will start in the summer as well. For example, dining services, campus rec, all kinds of places. And so when you arrive on campus, we will start talking to you about the job search process and getting you ready for that. But the short answer is yes. How far away is the laundry area?
It's literally in the village it's in, I think, South 3. So there's 5 buildings that students will be staying in, 1 through 5. The laundry is in, I think, the basement of building 3. And I think it's 3 and 3, 3 dryers, 3 washers. So all students will have access to all 5 buildings, and you can literally just go in, do your laundry, and go about your business.
That's great. Students are learning for the first time there's no AC in the residence halls. The individual rooms are definitely not air conditioned. I don't know about the building itself. Chris, do you?
I don't think there's AC whatsoever in the
I don't think
building.
there is.
So yeah,
Uh,
but they have windows.
there are windows.
There are windows.
Um, There is a question about Medicaid. And so this question, someone is asking a question around insurance. You will be receiving an email from Student Services around health insurance. And I hesitate to give you wrong information. And so I would really encourage you to connect with the Student Services office to ask specific questions about your health insurance. Essentially, when and if you waive the health insurance, you're going to be asked to demonstrate that you have insurance, and they will review that and get back to you and let you know if that qualifies as insurance on campus here. And so I would really encourage you to reach out to that office, and they can guide you from there. If you just honestly Google Boston College student health insurance, it will guide you in that direction. But it's so particular for every person. Hey, Chris, are girls and boys allowed on the same floor?
They just can't live next to each other.
Boom.
All the buildings are designated for men and women. However, you're good to visit a friend. If you're going to a friend's room, yes, you can do that.
That's right. Can you use laundry pods, Chris?
I think so. I use pods for mine, but as far as the ones in the buildings, to my knowledge, you should be able to. They probably would prefer the liquid because it's high efficiency liquid, but I don't see why you wouldn't be able to use pods.
I have no information saying you can't use laundry pods. So if you plan to bring them, and we'll let you know if there's a change to that.
Right.
Someone asked if there's a building curfew. I love this question because it reminds me of a time that a parent at orientation asked me to tell their student there was a building curfew, even though there absolutely wasn't. And so, no, there is no building curfew. You live here, and so you can get in and out of your room at any time. Obviously, we hope that you are sleeping as a college student. We hope that you're also being a respectful community member. And we also hope that you're being a respectful roommate. But no, there's no moment that we will lock you out of your building. Correct, Chris?
Correct. So yes, like I said, you're free to move about. If you choose to stay up late, just remember that you have class the next day and you got to worry about that.
It's a huge transition thing as well. No one's paying
Right.
attention to when you're sleeping or eating. And so you need to figure out for yourself what makes sense to you. Chris, are students given physical keys for the buildings, or is it all electronic? What's the answer to that?
So it's a mixture of both. The front door is electronic and it's tapped for to get into the building. When you get to your actual door, your door is a physical key.
Okay, we have a question about dining halls on campus. How accessible are they? There is one dining hall. It's incredibly accessible. It's right in the middle of campus. I don't know if the student is asking how easy it is to get there. Chris, do you happen to know the hours for the dining hall yet?
I think I think Frank has released them. I
Okay.
have to go double check.
Yeah,
But the other thing is that the dining hall is literally maybe, as far as a walk from Messina South, maybe a quick 5 minute
yeah, not even.
stroll, not even a run, like a stroll. Like it's literally a wrap around and you're good. You're right there. It's in Ashby. But you also have access to all of the cafeteria areas on Chestnut Hill as well, and also Newton campus as well that are open.
All right, great. We have one more question that I'm going to just answer within the chat. If anyone else has questions, Chris, anything that we didn't cover that you think we should cover?
No, I think having been on the campus a number of times myself, I'm super excited about a lot of the changes that Chris outlined and Alicia talked a little bit about as well too. And I think if and what happens a lot of times, you might go back after this and say, "Oh, I should have asked this or found out." Email us. Email all of us. Alicia can give you the contact information, but you're going to receive more information about orientation. But I think, again, back to what Alicia said, check your emails. You're going to get important information from Chris's colleagues in residential life, and certainly about orientation as well, and about Messina and John, and about BC. So it's important. We know that it's easier to text, but for us, we have to convey information with email. So please, please check your email.
Yeah.
Message of the day. I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
The
Well,
number
with that, oh,
one
sorry,
thing is
Chris, go ahead.
I'm sorry. The number one thing is absolutely check your email. As of probably the next few weeks, the only time you're only going to hear from us is through your BC email. So with that, please check your emails. Please keep up with those. If you can just check them maybe one time in the morning, one time at night, that works.
Just real quick, final question about guest policy. Someone is asking if they want to visit campus, if they have a parent who wants to visit campus, friends. Yes, the answer is yes. There is a visitor policy, but visitors are certainly allowed. Chris, anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, you can absolutely visit your child. Please be aware that we can't get your child for you. So it has to be a coordination between you and your student. As far as you visiting, based on how FERPA kind of works, is I'm not even technically allowed to even tell you that your student exists on this campus. So how it would work is, yes, I can't go get your student for you. And my staff cannot do that as well. We can reach out to your student and say, hey, your parent is looking for you. In the case that you haven't spoken to your child in a while, you want to see what's going on, we can reach out to them privately and say, hey, your parent is looking for you, but we can't literally bring you to their room and say, here they are. So if you do choose to come to the campus, please make sure it's a coordination with you and your student, and from there.
Great. All right. Well, Chris and Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to our new students and their families today. Students and families, thank you for being here. As always, please continue to reach out to us at Messina College at bc.edu. We hope to hear from you. And otherwise, we are so thrilled to see you on July 7th. Have a great night. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, welcome.